It's time for a story. I'm trying to get out of that truck. I'm almost mixed up. I just got up. Well, you're a little mixed up. You just got up and, I'm kind of sleepy. And there you was wanting to get out, and you've been fussing about not getting out in time. Well, you just sacked out. You just sacked out sleeping. Well, I'm glad you're awake, Chesley. I got a story to tell. When little is big. When little is big. Yes, Chesley, we hope this is a story that can help people, not just children, but can help adults that sometimes think they can't do anything for Jesus. That's right. There are some people that think because they're not rich and famous and they don't know how to do certain things, they have this idea. And of course, the devil put it in their heads with, well, you can't work for Jesus because you can't. And they'll point out somebody that does something bigger and better. And so they try to make them feel guilty. That's right. They feel guilty. And that they don't have anything they can do for Jesus. But that's not true. He's got to work for you. Yes, he does. He has a work for each of us to do, and it's not always something really big. Like I got some good ones today. We do have some good stories, things to talk about today. When little is big is the name of our story today. And we're taken from Matthew chapter 10 and verse 42, where the scripture says, and if you give even a cup of cold water to one of the least of my followers, you will surely be rewarded. My, but Chesley, if a person is thirsty and they're just about to die and they have no water and you happen to come up on the scene, maybe God led you. That's right, maybe God led you. They don't need a diamond ring. You know what they need? They need a cup of cold water. They need a cup of cold water. That's what they need. And so we need to know the Lord can use us and what we think we have to be doing something great and outstanding and something that make the newspapers. It doesn't have to make the newspapers. That person in need, like it all, what they need in this case was a cup of cold water we were talking about. But Chesley, each of us has so much to offer Jesus, and that includes me. That includes you. Yes, children can help others. Children can reach out. We're going to talk about some of the ways they can help. We're just going to just see how Jesus looks at it. He's watching, Chesley. He is. And he notices when children, when they do the right thing and they please him, it pleases him to see. So Chesley, when little is big, we think, this is so small, it doesn't even matter. We're going to talk about this time that, well, first I want to say this. We have so much to offer, even to say as children do, but everyone has a smile to give, and the more you give it up, it keeps coming back because people will almost always, they'll smile back. And so you don't run out, you never run out. And there are times that people are so down and out and they're so discouraged and they feel like no one loves them. And a smile, what will it do? It will lift them up and make them think that, well, there's somebody cares. And then when you smile and maybe you say, can I help you there? If maybe they're having some difficulty, maybe lifting, maybe they're trying to get something out of, maybe it's fallen in the floor. And a kid, we can get down, kid, you can get down there, that's right. You can reach it and help them. We're going to talk about little as much. When God, the song says, little is much when God is in it. And so you say, Jesus, what can I do today? What can I do for you today? It doesn't have to be something huge. It may not make the newspaper. I tell you what, it made Jesus news. It makes Jesus news. And it makes his heart glad. You know, Jesse, that's a wonderful thing to think about, how Jesus is watching us, not to knock us down, you're right. But he sees when we do good things. When we do things, we say, this is what Jesus would do. And he smiles. I think he does smile, Chesley, when he sees that we do things like he would do. We think, what would Jesus do? He would be kind. To put it down, stranger danger, we do have to talk about that. We want to make sure that our parents know where we are or whatever adult that we're with. It may be a grandparent or it may be an aunt or uncle, whoever, that person, that may be a teacher, whoever we're with, the one that's in charge. You don't just take off on your own. You don't just take off on your own. That's right, Jesse. Well, we're going to talk about this lady one time was a widow lady. She was a widow. Her husband had died, and usually they were very poor and they didn't have a lot of help like they do nowadays. And she was suffering. She was really suffering. Well, she's at the right place and she's at the temple. Well, Chesley, she's at the temple, but you know what? They were giving in their offerings, and Jesus wanted his disciples to pay attention. Pay attention to what's he doing. You going to let him get it? No, they're not going to get the money. No, but he said, I just want you to watch this. Something he wanted them to see. And he noticed as these people, Jesus sat down in the collection box of the temple, and he watched the crowds dropped in their money, it said. and many rich people put in large amounts. Then a poor widow came and dropped in 2 small coins. Oh, little bitty offering. Little bitty offering. That's all that she had, we found out. And Jesus called his disciples and he said, look at this. Did you see what I saw? Yeah, he said he dumped in a whole bunch. Those fellas lumped in a whole bunch. Yeah, they wanted everybody to hear it. They'd have that money that was big, like large coins, like they would bang and clatter. Yo, see how much I'm getting? Take notice. They wanted everybody to see. I gave more than that guy. I gave more than this one. Look at me. And they didn't do it to Jesus. They weren't doing it for Jesus. They just was showing off. Many rich people gave large amounts, and that poor widow dropped in 2 small coins. And Jesus said to his disciples, did you see what I saw? And they said, yeah. Why, those people, they gave a whole lot of money. That lady, she just had 2 little bitty coins she gave in. And Jesus said, I'm going to tell you the truth here. This poor widow has given more than all the others who are making those large contributions. No, how does he add it up? How does he add it up? He was looking at their hearts. They weren't doing it for the Lord. They were doing it to show off like they was idiots. That's what they thought. Everybody see what I did? He said, for they gave a tiny part of all the money they had. They had more than enough. But this poor widow, she's given everything she had to live on. Oh, she did it out of love. She wasn't being crazy. No, she wasn't being crazy. She was willing to do without. She thought, I'll make it some way. She would try to help somebody somewhere and get some money. It was out of a heart of love. And Jesus saw that she gave from her heart of love. And they didn't. They were smart. They was like smart Alex. And so, but kind and encouraging words is something we can give. It can be like to the pastor and like to the pastor and to the church people. We might see somebody that's struggling along. And like we've had a couple in church today that had difficulty walking. They were having some health issues, and so you can say kind words to them, and you can also help them. Well, yes, we could, but in this case, they had those that were helping them. But we can offer kind word. We can do things like that. And just, I was thinking about something. Well, what was you thinking about? Like holding the door. That's right. You can hold the door open. Sometimes a person they can't. Maybe they're carrying things in, and they're older, and they can't do it. They can't do everything at once. Maybe a lady is holding her purse, and she goes to get in the door, and maybe someone runs in ahead of her. Somebody may run in ahead, but we can be polite and courteous and say, let me help you there. You can hold their purse and this is as heavy as yours. All right, Chelsea, that wasn't very nice, but you carry it's so heavy. I know, Chelsea, I carry a heavy purse, but anyway, most don't carry one that heavy. But you can help. You can hold the door. There's things that can be done. And you know what Jesus said? He said, if a person, that's what he read up here, he talked about, if you even give a cup of cold water to one of the least of my followers, you'll be rewarded. No, rewarded, there's something so small. He sees the small things. He sees the large things. It's when it's done with a heart of love, and it's doing what Jesus would do. That's right, Chesley. We just follow his example, doing what Jesus would do. Is somebody thirsty? They don't need a diamond ring. They don't need a whole chunk of money. That doesn't matter. What they need is a drink of water to survive. And so I tell you what Jesus has made a way. He's made a way. He showed the way. He was the way, the truth, and the life. He was our great example. Just the last we'll end with is in Luke chapter 10 and verse 30 through 37. There was a Jewish man traveling down from Jerusalem to Jericho. It's a scary thing. Yes, it was a very scary way to go. It was known to have many attackers along the way. And he shouldn't have been on that road. But Chesley, he maybe had to be on that road. And he should have had help. He should have had help. It could have been he had a helper and then couldn't come at the last minute. We don't know. But we know this. This man was attacked and left for dead. Now, this man didn't need a birthday gift. He didn't need money. I know he needed some help. He was left for dead. It was horrible. He was injured. He needed a helper. And there was a man came by from the church, a church leader. He just walked on past. They had another church man came by. He looked at him, turned around, and walked away. One went over across the other side, helped him. He needed it and prayed for him. Chesley doesn't show them, even prayed for him. But here came a man by that was a despised Samaritan. And he saw this man in need. I tell you what, I think it's very dangerous. It was very dangerous. But he took the risk and he said, this man has been injured. And he got over there and to look for him and to see what he could do for him. He doctored his wounds with best he could. What did he have a first aid kit? Well, he had what was called, they used to help us and to guide us every step of the way. Everywhere you go, God has got a plan. God has got a plan. We must remember to honor the Lord with the words of our mouth, and the smiles on our face can make a difference. Let's say, get permission from your parents or whatever adult you're with supervising you before you go away from them to help somebody, and let them help you help them. We should each have a heart of love like Jesus.